Seen a security patch being applied. That's it? Come on. Alright. So a security patch, like people who don't know, we have a few people who know about it. So every time a security patch would come, there would be a loss of productivity. Why? Because a security patch during that time you cannot work, and if you multiply that by the number of employees, 5 minutes is not a huge amount of time, right? But if you multiply those 5 minutes with the number of employees you have, you can see what kind of effect that old infrastructure had on your system. So with that, let me come and show you, take a step forward and show you what we are aiming to do. We as Google, and we'll also like to show this to you in the demos, like show you an actual product demonstration. And Google as a company as well, like all our 32,000 Googlers that we have worldwide, we use Google Apps for a $30 billion company that we are today. So we are again going to address 4 major aspects. One is any team. If I'm a sales guy, it should not be that I'm only going to be successful if I keep selling. Unless I have support from my marketing, unless I have support from my other teams, my deployment teams, my other teams that I work with, I'll not be successful. So how do I work with these guys? The answer is Google Apps for Business. I can work with anybody, I can work with any person. For example, like before this presentation today, both Warren and I, Warren is from an authorized reseller, enterprise reseller called Megha IT, and Patrick also is part of Megha IT. We did not know what exactly was there, and I landed in Chennai last night, but this presentation was actually made on the go. We made this presentation, we shared it with each other, and we could actually work with each other with real-time collaboration. So I did not have to like send an attachment in the form of a PowerPoint presentation, wait for it to come back, and then see the final result. We actually made all these slides together, and that was real-time at the same time. So we edited the presentation together. Again, now it's called a global village. Earth is called a global village. So it should not be that if you work in India, you should only be working with people from the Indian territory. I have a lot of colleagues, for example, from marketing who are based out of Australia. We'll also see a few of those join in a short while for the demo and talk to you and help you understand like how exactly you are trying to do away with geographical barriers. Again, and at last, the third important thing was anytime access. So now what happens is, if you want to access information with the help of Google Apps, it works across any devices. It works at any time. So even if you are in the security of your home, what you could do is you can actually log into your Google Apps account and access your mail, your calendar, your docs, or your chat with anybody in the world. So you don't have to actually go to the office to send out that mail anymore. I know some of that technology existed in the form of VPN. The good thing is that all this technology that we are going to talk about today works very well with your legacy system. So your single sign-on, your Active Directory, for those who understand it. This technical jargon that I'm using can be very beneficial for you to understand what exactly Google Apps does. The fourth important thing, like we understand that mobile is one of the most growing trends, and a few of the people here who own businesses and are associated with IT, I'm pretty sure you already have a tablet adoption plan. So for example, it could be an iPad, it could be a Samsung tablet, it could be a Chromebook, it could be any device. The best part about this product is you buy it on a license and it's not restricted to any device. So if you want, I could actually have done this presentation, which is completely online right now, from Warren's computer as long as I have the internet. Well, actually sometimes the CIOs cough at me and they think I'm making a fool out of them when I tell them that the only requirement that you have to install Google Apps is a browser. I don't talk about like you have to have a Windows machine, you have to have a Linux machine, and we are not going to support a particular form. We actually go ahead and do all our platform development, which is completely device agnostic and platform agnostic. So if any of you are developers and into the technical side, we are actually going to hold a talk tomorrow with a few of our developer friends. The good news is that most of the developers, and if you're students who would like to understand more about the technology, most of the development for Google Apps for all across the world actually happens out of India. It's in 2 places, Hyderabad and Bangalore. So please feel free to reach out to those guys. Those guys are technical geniuses, really distinguished engineers who work 24/7 just on Google Apps. So here's what the suite entails. How many of you have used Gmail? Okay, all right, that's positive. So what we are talking about today with Google Apps, we will be talking to you about the whole suite of products. What exactly does the product entail? I would not like to keep it very, very specific to the whole suite because I would like to talk more about working in the future as a concept. But just to quickly run you through, the first product that we have is Gmail. It's the same look and feel. The good thing is it can also be configured on your Outlook or any other legacy email client that you have. and it offers you 25 GB of space. Normally, if I'm not wrong, and by my limited experience that I have, I see that normally employees get close to 500 MB of space, or typically 1 to 2 GB of space. Here, as I mentioned, I've been with Google for 5 years. I still have not deleted all my emails even once. So every time I go there, I check my mail, I can archive it, and I'm still close to like 60% of my 25 GB, and I receive quite a good amount of emails daily. So that's what you get out of the box. You also get Google Drive. Now that's a recent product that we launched in the market. And Drive is basically what it actually helps you is, you can access all your files securely from any location. So for example, if I have my files in a drive, which is like I could call it a hard drive for the lack of a better word, this hard drive can actually be accessed from anywhere across. You don't have to be dependent upon one particular device, right? And Docs, again, is something which helps you with the power of real-time collaboration. And let me share a small example with you. It's not something I'm very proud of, but if you remember the Mumbai blasts, one of the most important things was how to find out like who was the person who was injured, who was the person like who needed blood. So there was this one gentleman in Mumbai. What he did was he created an online spreadsheet, which is part of Google Docs. So he created a spreadsheet, just share the link with anybody, made it publicly accessible. And within like 2 hours, there were like 5,000 edits. There were people like close to 200 people working on it at the same time, figuring out who are the people who are missing, who are the people who have been found, where are they found, what is the amount of blood which is required, what form of blood is required, and all of this was done real time. They did not have to like send an attachment to anybody to get that information. We'll also show that in the demo to you what exactly Google Docs is, but to give you a small flavor, it basically contains an online version of spreadsheet editing with the same like rich features. You can make your presentations in real time, you can create forms. So for example, a lot of you would be sending out employee happiness surveys. A lot of you would be sending out like surveys to find out how exactly is the infrastructure going, provisioning, requirements. You can do all of this with the help of Docs. Calendar is again something which is part of the suite, and I don't want to spend too much time because it's a calendar which I'm sure most of you would have seen. One of the most important things, there's actually a parallel talk going on in the other track for Google+. This is one of our latest innovations. And Google Plus is the social side of business. Think of it this way. Once you enable Google Plus for your business, and you are creating a project for finance, right? So the system is so smart, it will go through all your circles, obviously if you permit it, and figure out. So for example, if I send a mail to Warren, and the system understands that this mail is for a finance related thing, it will automatically add from my circle Patrick because he's a finance genius and he understands what exactly my requirements are. So it'll send an email across to this guy and ask him whether you can help with this project or not. Important thing, Google Plus for business is something that we'll be launching very soon in India, but the concept is like we are trying to make it as business friendly as possible. So for example, one of the important features would be the ability to create sub-circles within a team. So if you have teams like, let's say for sales, if you have people who are focusing on North India, you have people who are focusing on East India, South India, you can have different circles, and information is only restricted to these particular groups, so it does not go out. And here you can see this is a slide, like this is an actual snapshot of how Google Docs works. In the background, you can see there's a Project Everest plan, and this is like a word processing format in which a lot of people are trying to work together. All I have to do, if I had to share this with you, I did not have to like make the edits, and if I needed inputs from 5 people, send 5 attachments or send 1 attachment to 5 people. What I would normally do is just take this link which you see on the top side and share it with people with different levels of access. So here you can see Adam Smith is a fictional character and Barbara. These guys have access to this spreadsheet so they can start editing it. So you can see on the right hand side, these people can actually edit. But I want other people also to view or be a part of this discussion or make their changes. But there are few people I just want to give view edits because these are not the people who will make any changes. So you can see towards the bottom, there's Chi who can only view the doc. And we'll also show this in a live spreadsheet that we'll be editing in front of you. So that's it. As soon as I click on the names, I see the names. I just send an email and that's it. I'm all set. I'm done. The moment I open this, I can see all these people are coming here, and towards here on the top right hand side, you can actually see there are 5 people who are already collaborating on this doc. And this is a snapshot of Google Hangouts. And you can see all these people are actually able to see each other. So a video conference, think of it this way, a video conferencing equipment without any spend whatsoever. All you need is a browser, and most of the laptops now come with webcams. So we provide you a plugin for Google+. You can go ahead and talk to as many people as you want. You can talk to them, you can see them, you can, in a short while from now, not available in India yet, you can also go ahead and initiate phone calls with these guys. So this is the kind of technology we're talking about. And here you can see what's happening is there are 4 people who are working on the same dock. These guys ideally could have done it without the hangout or without looking at each other. But just to boost that face-to-face feeling or making sure that you are able to talk to each other and talk to each other while you're in a small group, we have launched this concept called Google Hangout, which is a part of Google Plus for Business. So with that, what I'll do is I'll hand it over to Warren, who will walk you through a small product demonstration. Warren?
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. The demonstration is going to start quite simply. I'm going to demonstrate Gmail. Now, everybody put their hands up before saying, yeah, we know Gmail. It's very familiar to you. This is, I want to talk about Gmail in the context of Google Apps for Business and using Gmail at work. So the first thing that I've just mentioned, that is, it's familiar. So all your employees, it will be familiar to for your employees. It's not a difficult, it's not at all a difficult program. And being a webmail program, as we've already mentioned, it requires only a browser and internet access, and it will work from any device. And we have the tablet device and the Chromebook floating around here for you to have a look at. This, from my Gmail interface, I have quick access to my Google Drive, my Google Calendar, sites and groups. So one-click access to the other Google Apps products that I would use. So in the work context, as you're using Gmail, you're also you're accessing your other Google Apps products. It's, we can brand it with the corporate logo. And we enjoy the benefit of 25 GB of storage. 25 GB really can mean a lot of email. So it's a good thing that we have Google search power, if you like, available to us. We have Google search power, if you like, available to us. And for example, if I wanted to find the welcome mail that is sent to me when I first sign into my Google Apps account, I would just type welcome, and the search is fast, it comes straight back to you. It's always quick. Let's have a look at, so that, if you like, that Google search is powered by Google's algorithms. Google's very famous for algorithms, and they're using the algorithms in Gmail to make your life easier, to make your work in the future better, if you like. So here we go. I'm going to send an email to my demo buddy, Patrick. He needs assuming he needs an image, so image file. Please find attached. Okay, I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry. I press send. The algorithm is operating there. It's recognized that I've typed attached. I've not attached the image, so it pops back and says, hey, look, did you want to attach the image? Yes, I did. So I'll just drag and drop that from my downloads. Here's my downloads. Here's the image. Just drag and drop, okay? So there's nothing complicated. It's very, very easy. It's very easy for your employees. And away it goes, and I can send that. Okay. And there we are. Thank you. Okay, let's look now at what I'll just quickly mention a couple other features that are relevant to Google Gmail in the workplace. I'm using filters, if you like, to categorize my mail. I have chat window open so I can contact my colleagues very fast. And I'm using something called priority inbox, which is useful in the workplace particularly, to separate those important mails from the perhaps the less important. And again, that's the Google algorithm that sits there and identifies what might be the most important. Okay, so here I've got an email from the product manager from say a prospective company who says, okay, we can have a meeting today at 5 p.m. and the boss will be available. Then we've got an opportunity to get in front of the boss. So straight away I'm thinking, okay, 5 p.m., let's lock it in my calendar. I can go to my calendar, and you'll see that in a moment, and create an appointment. But what else can I do? Perhaps I can create an event from the mail. Okay, capture the information that's in the mail and create an event with that. I'll let that, and then as that's loading, thanks to the internet, and then at the same time I need to bring my team together. I start to need to bring my team together so we can collaborate. So when we demonstrate and talk about Google Apps, we're always talking about collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. If you don't know what that is working together more effectively, if you like. So I need you to help me with the doc. Okay. And we're meeting today. Okay, we need to meet today at 5 p.m. Save. And we are meeting today at 5. So here I'm going to save that. Get in there who I need to come into the meeting with me. Okay. The product manager's been brought in automatically, and I'll save that appointment. Invite the external guests, yes, and away we go. All right, let's look at the calendar then. We've got shared calendars happening here. Okay, shared calendars is important for both teams and knowing what your colleagues are doing. Yes, we support free busy search, those sort of things. And we integrate with our other Google products. So if I just have a look here at my G-Days that I've blocked, I blocked G-Days because I'm going to be here. I put the location as Chennai Trade Centre, Nandanam, Tamil Nadu, and Google searched that against Google Maps, put that link there for me. I click on that, it will open up the Google Map for me, and if I was using, a fancy Android phone with Google Local, etc., it could tell me how that I need to leave now, if you like, to get to the appointment on time and all those sort of things. So the Google Apps products work better together so that you can work better together. All right. So that's the shared calendars. Moving on, the next aspect is we need to get this document, if you like, prepared in a hurry for our presentation. What is the document? This is the document we need to get ready. Let's collaborate. We're going to collaborate in document real time. Okay, and this is really something that only Google is doing better than, Google does this better than anybody else. And nothing brings us more excitement, if you like, than to see our customers doing this and to hear their feedback. So here, please, well, please join me in document. While that comes back, I'll just show you what happens in such a case as this. I'm using the Chrome browser. Very, very important if you're using Google Apps for Business in the workplace to use the Chrome browser. And it gives you access to offline products. Okay, so if, for example, you feel you've lost the internet at any point in time and you need to access some information, I have my offline Gmail, okay, only available in the Chrome browser, and my offline docs or offline Google Drive, where I can edit my documents and view my spreadsheets, and later the other Google products will be coming into this. Let's see if we can try this again. Press the try now. Or if, yeah, okay.
Did you plan for this?
Yeah, absolutely. Right on.
All right.
Okay, so here's my offline Google Doc. I have the little sort of symbol there that indicates I'm in offline mode. I need to open this one. Okay, this one has come up in view-only mode for some reason. Perhaps it's got related to some of the web fonts could not be loaded offline. Fine.
No, you have it there.
Hmm?
You have it. If you go back, you actually see how exactly it is.
Yeah, but I've come in view-only mode, not edit mode. So if for certain documents, I should be able to get into edit mode. So this one, okay, this is an offline document, I can edit it. Okay, this is a very new feature from Google, was released only earlier this year. Let's go once again.
So you're offline right now, Warren, correct? You're not connected to anything.
Yeah, let me try on the...
Yeah, I'm back on me, it will work.
Okay. There we go. And we're tethering off an Android phone that's moved to the part of the room that's going to give us the strongest signal. Okay. Lovely. Okay, so please join me in the dock. And Patrick, you're using the tablet, or you're using the tablet, right? Okay.
Why don't you come here and speak, Patrick? I think for the benefit of the others.
And who else have I got? I've got Shashank with me as well. So now we're doing we can do real-time in-document collaboration.
So I'll be editing from the tablet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go. Let's start. So we can chat and we can talk. Earlier today, we had some colleagues from Australia and Singapore come into the document. They have left comments, okay? So we can reply to those comments. So we collaborate, not only real-time in document, but we can collaborate with those individuals who can't be there at that point in time. Leave them a message, bring them back into the document. They can create their output, and we see what's going on. Now, as the owner of the document, I control the sharing rights, if you like. Who's got edit rights? Who's got view rights? Who can only comment on the document? I can share out that link, bring people, both people who are within my company and people who are outside my company into the document. Furthermore, as the owner of the document, I have access to the revision history. If I'm not happy with the changes that somebody's made while I've been sort of not supervising this document, I can click on the revision history and I can go back and change that version. So I can see here who's been making changes, what time they've been making changes, and I can revert the document. So this is real-time in-document collaboration. It's very powerful for preparing proposals, for example.
And also, I think you should also talk about the fidelity with other forms of legacy
Absolutely.
systems.
So we've reached, assuming we've done our collaboration, reached the format of the document, or reached what we need to get out to the customer. We're not forcing you, we don't force you to do anything if you like. We're not forcing you to share a Google Doc with the customer if you don't want to. You can download it as a Word document, PDF, and use those traditional formats to send out your document.
Inbound as well.
Inbound, that's right. When those documents come to us in Word documents or Excel spreadsheets, we can open them as Google documents. They will be imported. We can select them to be imported. That document will be translated, if you like, into a Google document.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes, auto
Exactly.
save.
It's always up to date. You don't actually have to hit the save button even once.
No save button here.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see at the top, last edit was made seconds ago.
Could you show that?
Yep.
So even though I made the edits on my tablet, we know who's edited it.
Exactly. And you can also anytime go back to the revision history and see.
Go back to when the document was created.
Yes, yes you can. Yes. All right, so let's just hold on to the questions for a bit, but for people who are asking questions, good news is I have some pretty cool +1 stickers. Even I don't have them so far. So people who will be asking questions will be getting these, but please ask questions which really can qualify you. And I have been given an option from the organizers here. The person who asked me the best question gets a surprise Google goodie. So I'll hold on to that for the last part of the session. So let's carry on with this. Could you switch the presentation to my laptop, please? Excuse me. My laptop. My laptop. Perfect. All right. So here is what you see as the final output. What you see is there are a lot of people who are working on a small spreadsheet which was online without waiting for any attachments, without waiting for being able to access this information from any particular device. And they were able to access it from anywhere they were. Actually, this technology is so advanced now that, for example, you could see Pat doing it on a tablet. I could also like edit this spreadsheet or a word processing format on my cell phone. I have an Android phone, but that does not really matter. We have this technology which supports like Blackberries, iPads, your iOS, your native Symbian phones, and all you have to do is just be connected to the internet. So we faced a few problems, and we know that in certain countries like India, there will always be an issue with internet, at least at a certain point of time. So we do go ahead and do a bit of development which is catering to these particular countries. So one of the options that you saw, offline mode of Gmail, offline calendar, offline docs, was actually built with these things in mind. So for example, if a lot of you guys are on the plane constantly, right? Normally what you would do is you'll sit in the flight, there's no connectivity, you just take out your Outlook and start working. What you could do now is, if you switch to Google Apps, you could actually have the same kind of experience on a rich user interface, which is a completely web interface. Now again, to share with you something very interesting, last year we did close to 340 new features. And that's the kind of like we are talking about almost a feature almost on a daily basis. These were completely geared towards productivity, increasing productivity and enhancing your anytime, anywhere access. And the best part was that whenever we push out a new feature, there's no planned downtime. Whatever happens, like in case there's a new feature which comes out today, the next time you log into your corporate inbox or your corporate suite of applications, you'll always be updated to the new version. You don't have to wait for a refresh. You don't have to wait for that patch to be applied so that you can start using the next form of technology. Sure.
Suppose you're working on an offline process or offline drive, and you're away from the connectivity, and there's another set of team which is already online and working on the doc. So there's a Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So there is a team which is working on the document on a real-time basis. So my first question is, once you are connected onto the system, will your changes be affected onto that document directly?
The answer is yes.
So if yes, if there has been some edit made by the real-time team,
Yeah.
how will your changes affect the document? Is it version controlled, or what is the process as on date?
Okay. It's actually controlled by a timestamp. So for example, if there are like 3 people here, okay, 3 of us who are offline, or actually online, and you are the only person who's offline, okay? So the moment you get online, if you have been making the changes, and the moment you get online, based on the timestamp, your edit will also appear. And then it depends upon the people who are actually the collaborators to see which is the change they would like to keep. But all those edits will appear.
Is there some relevance check onto the change that is being made? Because the person who has been offline, let's say for 4-5 hours, and he's been away, especially if it's a proposal work, which is going on a real-time basis, any change, he might not be updated of what has been the discussion till that time, and if his change gets affected onto the document, it might actually...
But his check might not come at the latest version. It will come not at the time where he reconnects.
Uh-huh.
At the time his computer was the clock at the time of the offline edit. So there'll be subsequent edits. It's the subsequent edits from the real live team.
Okay.
Also in that scenario, if you recall, when we were working on the document, we had the comment section. So you can, you said that the team is thinking of something different. The document will be littered with those comments. So when that person comes in later, not only the changes are there, but the reasons for the changes.
Okay. But
Yeah.
Yes, you could. You could actually go back to the start of the document, no matter where it was created. So if I want to actually go to a doc which was created 5 years ago, I could. Let's keep the technical questions for a later part. I would like to make this more comprehensive, but if you have any technical questions, these are the 2 guys you can reach out to. All right? Yeah, please.
Is it necessary for my clients to be on the G Plus platform as well? Not necessarily, isn't it?
Not
So how do
necessarily.
we collaborate in that case?
So for G+, that's a different case. What we are going to talk about is Google Apps. G+ is a part of it. That's the social aspect. And that's mostly like a siloed environment in which we just keep it within the
my question is
organization.
very specific to doc sharing, reviewing, and editing.
Yes.
If my clients or folks who have to are outside the network, how do we collaborate?
Okay, very good question. So we showed you like Fidelity in case you don't have Google Apps for your company. And let's say Patrick is a person from outside, okay? And he does not have Google Apps. So in that case, collaboration would be a bit difficult. Why? Because that person is a different platform. But what you could do is we provide you the tools to work with people who are on that platform. So for example, people within the organization, let's say we are the people who are the suppliers, and this guy is requesting, let's say 300, like something of which is 300. And for example, 300 ball bearings, for example, manufacturing sector. So necessarily he's not using Google Apps. But people here, we could see, like get his information in the form of a Excel file. We could upload that to Google Docs and both of us could work together. And then once we are done, we could download that as an Excel file and send it back to him. So that's how it works. It's not exactly a perfect solution, but that's to address the legacy systems.
We can carry that, we can take that example further. We're Google Apps resellers, so we're trying to sell Google Apps to companies and customers who don't have Google Apps, but we use Google Apps for everything, our spreadsheets and so on. So what do we do then when we've been working on a document and we want to share it with the customer? The sharing privileges and the sharing rights allow you to share a document anonymously. That is, you can share with somebody who only has that URL, that link to the document. And they only need a browser to access that document. The security, if you like, is inbuilt into the fact that that URL is so long that nobody will ever guess it. So that way we can bring our customers into this collaboration arrangement before they've even bought Google Apps from us.
Plus, there's a publish mode. Every document can be published. Yes. You can publish a document to a public URL, and people can come and see your presentations, your spreadsheets. They can be published as HTML. They can be published in a number of formats.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So even if you don't have Google Apps, you can see the final version in the form of a link. So you don't need a Google Apps account to actually go ahead and access that information.
And if you really wanted to do deep collaboration, you would ask your customer to use a Gmail account, and you could share with his Gmail account.
Yeah, please.
I receive a lot.
Sorry, one second. We have a question here. So.
When I work with the colleague, he always send a lot of zip files and docs and PPT. Can I auto sync with Google Drive from Gmail to Google Drive?
It normally just works for your Google Docs, not your mail. So Drive will only have your Google documents, not your mail.
Okay. So how many offline? If I say that I reboot my machine, will the document be there in offline?
Yes, like in that case, it's actually Google Drive is sort of a plugin. So install it once. So in case, yes, you reboot, like if you reboot your system, it will be there. But let's say if you format the system, you'll have to reinstall it. But as long as you just reboot it, all the information will be there.
Same for Gmail also.
Same for Gmail. Yeah.
Thanks.
In Google Wave,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
we had a very good feature where I could really, write in English, and that person writes in Spanish and French and different languages, right? Do you have that feature here in the Google Plus?
Absolutely. So what we do is we support 40 languages. So for example, if I'm chatting with you in, let's say, Spanish, and you don't know Spanish, we have an Autobot which could be a Spanish to English translator, which will translate it for you, and you can see that in English. So we use the same Google Translate technology that we have for our enterprise customers as well. And it supports 40 languages, which include most of the vernacular languages in India as well, like Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi.
Is it real time? I mean, I could see that person.
It's real time, exactly. And now, that's a very good thing you raised. We're actually working on technology in which, this is again like which we are working on. What we are trying to do is, so if you talk on a phone, and if you're talking to somebody, it will not be exactly real time. But if you're talking to somebody, and that's in Spanish, the person is speaking Spanish, we'll take some time of buffer and try and change that tone based on the Google voice recognition technology. That's also going to be a part of enterprise. So let's
stop questions.
Yeah, let's hold on to the questions. We have very limited time. So I'll quickly go through the slides. And as I mentioned, like this supports different kind of devices. So you can see one of the important things that I would like to highlight is a challenge that businesses face. So for example, one of the most important thing is like seamless syncing. If I actually go ahead and read an email on my cell phone, how does it get marked on my corporate inbox? And like if I am actually doing that on 5 or 6 different devices, how do I maintain that sanity that whatever I'm actually going ahead and checking on what particular device actually gets replicated to all the devices on which I'm configured? A few of us actually use multiple devices. Like for example, I have a laptop, I have a Chromebook, I have an XSS. And the good thing is that with our solution, no matter which kind of device you're using, the information is always uniform. You don't actually have different kind of information on a different device, but anytime you're there, we actually did an event recently in Udaipur, in which we invited the top 50 CIOs of India, and we did a small Chromebook demo. So how that actually works is, and that was a very funny way of doing it. So somebody came, and while I was presenting, he took away my laptop. He took away my Chromebook. And then I was actually making a spreadsheet online. The good thing is that as soon as it took it away, I just booted in the other Chromebook. It gets booted, it boots in like close to 6 to 7 seconds. And the moment I opened it and logged in with my account, I was on the exact same page of the presentation. I did not even have to do anything. So now we'll come to the interesting part, which is a product demonstration again. And we'll be showing you Google Hangout. Anything else Warren you be covering?
I might, time permitting, just point to Google Drive is installed on this laptop. So I'll show syncing a document into Google Drive. And, but primarily we want to demonstrate Google Hangout. So Google Hangout is accessed through having activated your Google Plus account for business, okay? So this is, you must have a Google Apps for Business account to have a Google Plus account for business, but Hangout is part of Google Plus in general. Okay, so I'm going to start a session. Just start a session now. The camera is activating, so my picture should come up here. All right, let's see who's online, and we'll start adding whoever we can find.
So do you want to talk about like what exactly you're trying to do here? Warren? Like why you
Yeah, let's go back to the example before. We want to bring together a team who's going to help us work on. Well, we can discuss the document, but we're going to work on the document while looking at each other, if you like, and then make that document. Once that's done, we can send it out to the customer. So this is a. Okay, how are we going? Was that...
Did you click the Hangout button? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yep. Invitations posted, so we're waiting for these people to come online. Now, one thing I can point out to you, a new feature, if you like, from Google, is that you can schedule Hangouts into your calendar. So here you see we've crossed I had a scheduled Hangout earlier, we've crossed that time, but my photo is there because that's taken that information, if you like, from my Google Plus and put it there. So that was a scheduled Hangout. And what we're doing at the moment is a real-time Hangout. We've got somebody using their tablet in the dark in the corner of the room. Okay.
It come out as pretty scary.
Sharad joined from, where's Sharad sitting? Sydney?
Australia.
Yeah, he's sitting in Sydney, Australia. He's joined. So, okay, we're bringing the team together. We can see what we can do. I think some of these guys can hear me. And if my sound is turned on this computer, I think you'll find that we'll be able to hear them speaking as well. I'm going to start Google Docs while I'm inside Hangout. Right? So we bring all our Google applications, if you like, together. Starting Google Docs while I'm inside Hangout. That's going to create a bit of a download here. Okay. And let's get back to that proposal document. Select that. And make this available.
So you're actually sharing your screen, right? Warren?
Well, at the moment I'm sharing the document.
Okay.
So everybody else who's around, who's online, we've got also, I can see Anna there. Shall I... try and make this a bit bigger, perhaps. Great. Okay. And if we can find the document, if you can come into the document, get that, that link should be there. It's probably waiting for them to load. We can work on this document. Here we go. So we've got Sharad in the document. Okay, and we can work on this, talk about it, express our feelings about the document. Oh, no, that's horrible. I don't want that change to be made at all. And this is the way we can work. Furthermore, I can also not only share the document, I can share the screen. Okay, so I'll remove this Google Docs at the moment. I'm going to do a screen share. and select the window. Let's see if I can find something interesting. And I hope, yeah, let's try that one, shall we? Screen share. Get back to my, get back to my Hangout. I've changed my Mac preferences, so how do I do that? Okay. Okay. That's what I want. Oh, here we go. Screen share. Aha! Because I feel that perhaps that's something very important on this this window, this that I want to share with everyone. I want to discuss that with them because I feel there's some value here that we can take and give it to. So although I'm speaking, you know, my face is no longer there, but what I'm sharing, what is shown to the others, is the document that I'm sharing. That document, if you like, that document is something related to Google Apps and the value proposition that it makes.
Perfect. All right. So, given the interest of time, what we'll do is we'll quickly move on. And now I'll try and cover the aspects of security. That is one of the terms which is most synonymous when I talk about cloud to anybody. So it's always questions like, how secure is the platform? Is it okay if my employees access information from anywhere outside? Is it okay if my employees actually go ahead and access information from any device? What if the device gets stolen? So to answer that, what we have is we have implemented a very, very strong privacy and security measurement. Especially for businesses, we adopt very, very stringent procedures. So here you can see in front of you, what we did was a small example of the kind of innovation we are doing. So let's say, for example, if somebody gets to know your password, what happens? Anybody can log into your account, right? But with Google Apps for Business, what you could do is there's an added layer of security. The moment somebody actually gets to know your password, you can also, as the IT administrator, define whether this person needs an additional layer of security. So what I actually have is, if I try to log into my corporate inbox, I always, after the password, I'm asked for a 6-digit authentication factor. It could be a soft token, it could be in the form of an SMS, or it could be in the form of a call to a phone which is authorized by you, and only you have access to that information. So that's one of the things. Plus, again, we do a lot of like server-side and worldwide implications that we have in terms of security. So we recently got certified for FISMA. Again, this is like one of the highest standards for Information Security Act, and in which we actually have been certified by a lot of competent authorities to make sure that the servers that we have, where we store your data, are competent enough to actually host your information data or host your business information. And we also recently published a security white paper. I would request all of you to go to google.com/a, and there you can find a lot of information about how exactly security and privacy are two of the issues that we try to address proactively. Some of the Indian SMBs you can see, like I understand a few of you would also be looking after SMB accounts. So here what we are trying to do is show you a few of the people who will be giants of the tomorrow, who will be the giants of tomorrow. So familiar names like Absolute Data, Policy Bazaar, Exactors. These are some of the companies which actually have put their like testimonials in front of us. And as I mentioned, this is not just restricted to SMB. This is not an SMB phenomenon. As I mentioned, we have some of the largest customers. So for example, in India Infoline, which is a completely finance-driven organization, they have all their data for 28,000 employees residing on Google Apps. We recently also signed a Punj Lloyd. Indian Youth Congress was one of the recent signups. Voltas from Tata is one of the recent signups. And here we are talking about people who have organizations which have like close to 10 and like thousands of employees, tens of thousands of employees. So with that, what I'll do is I'll actually like do something that I like to do best. Rather than me talking about Google Apps, I'll hand it over to a customer who will actually talk to you about how he benefited from this. And you guys were pretty surprised when I said that you could actually, you know, learn to play the piano with the help of Google Apps. That's because that's why you will see this video and see how this actually changed this person's life. Volume on this one, please.
Piano when I was a child, so I've recently taken that up again. Last year I started taking keyboard lessons, so I do that whenever I can. Absolute Data is in the business of helping companies make better decisions through the use of intelligent analytics. My name is Sohail Kapoor and I'm an EVP and co-founder of the company. In our business, collaboration is probably the most important enabler of how we work. And the reason is because both our clients as well as our team members are spread across locations. We also work in different time zones, so some people work from home, some people work from office. So it's very difficult to have all the team members in a room at the same time. So technology is absolutely essential for us to collaborate, whether that's on conference calls or on documents or in meetings or whatever it may be. So we started using Google Apps about a year ago. Within 3 months, I think everyone had switched over. So we have tasks which are color-coded, and we usually have people assigned to different tasks. And then whoever's sharing the document, we can see who's sharing, and we can see who's edited which part of the document. Recently, in fact, a lot of our senior management team in India and the US were interacting on what the vision of absolute data should be. There were a lot of fancy words flying back and forth, and it's difficult to do a discussion on what a vision should be unless you see something written. So then someone whipped out a Google Doc, typed in their vision, and before we knew it, there were 3 different people typing on the same document. And by the end of the discussion, we actually had a nice vision worked out with people from across the globe working on one document. A lot of our clients are sensitive about data security, but fortunately, Google has a combination package with Postini, so we got that. So we're able to comply with a lot of client data security norms as well. When we are presenting data or results to a client, we don't want to just show the good part of it. We want to show the good and the bad, because they're making business decisions which are dependent on the data which is being provided to them. So it's absolutely essential that we're honest to our work, that we're honest to our data, that we're honest to our clients. And that's something which I've learned is one of the most important things when doing business.
When you have a great idea and need to work with others to bring it to life, how do you do it? Sometimes it's tough.
Okay, so we are towards the last part. So if you have any more questions around this, I'll definitely be taking questions. But from a business perspective, if you would like to know how you can actually move on to the Google Apps bandwagon, what you could do is we have people here from Mega IT who are our authorized resellers. You can reach out to them. They are present here. I also got to know we have a fully functional demo booth running very close here.
Demo booth is fully
so
functional.
feel free to go ahead and have a first-hand flavor of the product, how exactly it works, and what are the things we can do for you. So with that, if you have any more questions, feel free to shoot me an email, and now I can take your questions. Yes.
Hi.
Could you actually? Sorry, sir. Yeah.
Hello. See, we are talking about the Hangout where we can collaborate, chat, and discuss, brainstorm.
Yeah.
Is it possible to record those sessions, the video, audio, so that it becomes easy? Like tomorrow, we can go back to it and play it and see, get the information like what we discussed.
You want to answer that, Patrick? All right. So yes, like that technology, like out of the box, is not available right now. Like we do not do a recording. But Patrick, like you would also like to talk about the thing that you did earlier?
No, I'm thinking.
Thinking about
There's a checkbox which we saw underneath when we started the Hangout. Enable Google on Air. And so what happens when you enable Google on Air? Google Hangout is for 10 active participants at a time. But when you enable Google Google Hangouts on Air, basically anybody can connect around the world to a YouTube channel where what is happening live during that Hangout is being broadcasted. And at the end of that Hangout, that particular YouTube video is saved and it can be viewed later.
Later, for a later time, yeah.
We talk about email, you have a bigger storage. You have Drive over there, which can store large amount of data. But finally, I have finished my proposal, like say if it is 5 MB or some video. I am sending it to my customer, and I have to send to it my peers also. Okay. Now, even though my peers also have a lot of storage, is there an option in Gmail where you can just forward the text alone to the people, and only the video or whatever the concerned person, only the video to that person? Is there a feature available like that?
So help me understand. You're saying that is there like separate storage for Gmail just for videos?
My question is, you have user person 2.
Yeah.
He is the customer. I am sending the proposal to the person.
Okay.
I have CC to all my peers.
Okay.
They have worked on the document. I don't want them to see. They don't need the document because it is already stored in Drive.
Right.
I don't want to load their inbox with the details. So is there a possibility like you just forward the text alone to these people saying that, okay, the message has been forwarded to the customer. Only the customer receives the actual data. Is it possible? Is there an option in Gmail?
It's a two-step process. You'll send the email to your customer with the attachment, and then you'll forward to all the others without that. In one-step process, not possible.
The other
Obviously, the attachment is there in the email body.
Why is it like Gmail not provide that?
The other important concept to understand here is in Google Drive, I have a document I loaded there. That size of that document counts against my quota. I share it with all my colleagues. The size does not count against their quota.
No, but when I send a mail I'm talking about, the G drive is okay, fine, I understand.
If you're
I'm sending a mail,
yes.
Probably my boss also knows. He does not need to see the...
So we always share the link. We collaborate with the link to the...
When I send a mail, I'm talking about businesses. When I send a business proposal, he's a marketing person, he's sending it, salesperson, he's sending it to his customer. He has to put CC to his peers or his reporting manager, whoever it is. The reporting managers were involved in the document, so they don't need to see the attachment. They don't need the attachment as such.
Sure.
Is there a possibility of doing it?
No.
Not sure.
One more question, sorry.
We need to leave the others a little bit. We'll come back to you. You can talk
to me
personally after.
People are here, so you can feel like talking to them.
Thanks a lot. Check. My question is that I'm able to see an immediate application for templates for various documents which my people in the office can use. For example, my marketing department can use proposal templates for different services. So can we have templates where the document can be taken and shared and save as, because you save in the same document? Is that possible?
That is possible. You want to talk more about it, Warren?
Yeah, well, we certainly can. There's already, if we bring up the...
if you could show his laptop once, we could actually show you how templates are
saved. And if
saved.
I was to go to Google Drive, are we still online there? And I'm going to create, I can create from template. So at the bottom of the, it's okay. But at the bottom here I can create from template.
But the short answer is yes. Like you can actually have templates which you can save and then use it for your,
there's a public gallery, there's I think document templates available from Google, and there's document templates that you've made and pushed in there for your business.
Most of the corporates use Outlook or Lotus Notes. Is there any migration plan so that they can go convert to Gtalk immediately?
Absolutely, and that's part of the change management which our resellers can help you with. And most of the people who actually switch to Google Apps are people who have been using Microsoft or Lotus Notes or one of those competent solutions. So we have a full-fledged tool plugin that we provide so for you to go ahead and import that data into Google Apps right away.
Hello, my doubt is this.
Yeah.
I use Gmail.
Yeah.
So sometimes I see ads on the right-hand side, which are based on my message, what I send in my message.
Yeah, yeah.
And then possibly if I had done a Google search, it automatically comes out there.
Right.
So now, see that information is already there, right? I mean, that means Google is accessing that information. And so how will I be...
protected
how will I know my privacy?
Absolutely, that's a very good question.
Because this information could be shared with anybody. I mean, how will I be sure?
Right.
See, ads keep coming, and then if I do a Google search, I mean, what is the privacy which I have?
Perfect. So I'd like to answer your questions in two aspects. The first one is that for Google Apps for Business, there are no ads. Okay. But for example, I am not like an engineer. I cannot give you an example of how exactly the consumer version works. But even there's no manual intervention. It's all algorithms to make sure that whatever information or ads are presented to you are customized to your taste. That's exactly what other people are doing right now. So, but again, privacy is a sensitive issue. But in terms of the business side, there are no ads which run. So there's no algorithm which is running on the background to check what exactly are the messages that you're getting. Absolutely, yeah, that's a valid concern.
No ads in Google Apps for Business.
Right. But again, as I mentioned, this is not a feature which is available for businesses. So there are no ads. There are no ads. Yeah. Sorry, I think we'll just take his question once and then come back to him.
Also, be aware that all the sessions that were to follow after this have been pushed to 1 p.m.
So, are there any category of businesses that cannot move to a cloud? For example, some of the healthcare businesses, healthcare data have some, some of the things. have something that you cannot
Could you
move to a
speak up a
cloud.
bit? I'm sorry. Could you speak up a bit?
Sorry?
Could you speak up a bit? I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, some of the healthcare data cannot be moved to a cloud. They can have a class like that. So are there any restrictions like that you have faced?
You can define that. So as an IT administrator, for example, let's say if you control an organization which has 300 or 400 employees, and you don't want them to be uploading data which contains sensitive information like credit card information, or for that matter like healthcare information, anything like that, you can actually block that. So if somebody is trying to send that information, it will be quarantined and will not go outside. So that information will never go outside. That can be quarantined. Can you pass the mic?
All right, we're going to take the last question because it's running short of time.
But we are here even after the questions. So
They're right here, you can meet them in person.
How do I do mail merge with Gmail?
So mail merge is a feature like which is very, very particular to Outlook. We do not support that right now.
You don't have any facility for that?
Sorry?
I can't use a contact list and send mails to everybody.
You can definitely use groups. That's a feature. You want to say something, Patrick?
Sure. Oh, look, mail merge is, you know, one of the things to understand about Google Apps is it's a very large and expansive environment. And there's something called Google Apps Script. In Google Apps Script, we can make Google Apps do many, many, many things according to what we script. And one of the things that we can script very easily for you is a mail merge. Load all your email addresses into the spreadsheet, take the message body from a document, for example, and send it out.
Yeah, a lot of these scripts are publicly available. So when you start, if some of you come from a time where Microsoft Office was predominant, there was something called Visual Basic for applications. Google Apps Script is like Visual Basic for applications on the cloud on steroids. So with 5 lines of code, I can receive a form, send an email, and publish something to a spreadsheet. Very, very powerful. This is the hidden gem of Google Apps Script. Lowers the barriers to office automation like never before. Cheapest access to office automation. Thank you.